back. So what we're looking at today are lessons 1 and 2. So this is from your Unit 2 workbooks. So new set of workbooks here. We're looking at 6th grade Unit 2, lessons 1 and 2. So we'll start with lesson 1, introducing ratios and ratio language. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So what kind and how many? If you sorted this set by color, how many groups would you have? So if we look at this set of figures here, how many different colors do we have? Well, we've got green, we've got this orangey yellow, we've got red, and we've got blue. So we would have 4 different groups. If I can get the pen to work. So we'd have 4 groups. We'd have red, blue, green, and yellow. What if we sorted this by area? So if we looked at it in terms of area of these figures, well, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got an area of 4 on that one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. This one has 3. This one has 2. This one has 3. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got another 2. We've got another 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5. So how many different groups do we have? Well, we've got 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 4 different groups. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the different groups that we would have. Next is think of a third way we could sort these figures. So if we tried to sort them in a different way, what other ways could we sort them? There are different ways we could do this. One would be we could look at it in terms of rectangles versus non-rectangles. We could look at it as rectangles and 2 different squares together in L shapes. We could look at it as squares, rectangles, L shapes, and 2 different squares together. So all sorts of different other possibilities that we could take and do with this. We could also look at it cool colors versus warm colors. I mean, there's a whole plethora of possibilities that we could use for this. So teacher's collection. So here is the collection that we are using for this. So we've got these different clips, paper clips that we are looking at here. Let's zoom this in some. So we've got green and blue paper clips here. So the first thing we want to look at is think of a way to sort your teacher's collection into 2 or 3 categories. Record your categories in the top row of the table and the amounts in the second row. So if we organize this based on color, we'd have green and blue. So green, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 green, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue. So let's do it green and blue. So green was 4, blue was 6. So we'll do that for ours. Now, write at least 2 sentences that describe ratios in the collection. Remember, there are many ways to write a ratio. So ratio is your key word for this lesson. Ratio is your key word for this lesson. So these are the different ways we have to write out a ratio. So the ratio of one category to another is blank to blank. The ratio of one category to another is blank, and then we use the colon and then another blank. That also represents 2. So this colon represents 2. Or we can say there are blank of one category for every blank of another category. So we want to write out 2 sentences at least using what we have. So the ratio, and when it says write out a sentence, yes, you are going to write out a sentence. So the ratio of green to blue is 4 to 6. There's our answer. That's how we'd write out this equation. The other one that we're going to look at is there are 4 green for every 6 blue. So this is another way that we can write these out. So these are the different ways we have to write out ratios. All right, let's go ahead and move on to lesson 2 and take a look at this. So blue paint and art paste. Elena mixed 2 cups of white paint with 6 tablespoons of blue paint. Here's a diagram that represents this situation. So we've got 2 white paint for 6 blue paint. So we've got 6 blue squares, 2 white squares to represent this ratio. Discuss the statements that follow and circle all those that correctly describe this situation. Make sure that both you and your partner agree with each circled answer. So the ratio of cups of white paint to cups of blue paint is 2 to 6. So are there 2 white paint for every 6 blue paint? Yes, there are. For every cup of white paint, there are 2 tablespoons of blue. So if we look at it in terms of 1 white to how many blue? Not 2, but 3. So B does not work. C, there is 1 cup of white paint for every 3 tablespoons of blue paint. Yes, that works. There are 3 tablespoons of blue paint for every cup of white paint. Just the reverse. Yes, it works. All right, I have a few more here. E, for every tablespoon of blue paint, there are 3 cups of white. No, not possible. Blue has more than white. F, for every 6 tablespoons of blue paint, there are 2 cups of white. Yes, that is true. And the ratio of the tablespoons of blue paint to cups of white paint is 6 to 2. Blue goes with 6, white goes with 2. This is correct. So we have to be very careful on order. If this would have said the ratio of tablespoons of blue paint to white paint is 2 to 6, this would have been wrong because 2 does not go with blue, 2 goes with white. So you have to make sure the order is exact on these. All right, number 2, Jada mixed 8 cups of flour with 2 pints of water to make paste for an art project. Draw a diagram that represents the situation, then write 2 sentences. So if we draw a diagram, we have 2, this is water, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is our flour. So here is our diagram to represent our ratio. So then our sentences, we can have the ratio of water to flour is 2 to 8. There's 1. For every 8 cups of flour, there are 2 cups of water. So these are examples of sentences describing the ratio that we could write for this. So once again, you have to make sure that you keep the corresponding parts together. So don't take and get those mixed around, okay? All right, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a great day, guys.